So far in 2021, Those Who Wish Me Dead is easily the most generic action thriller of the entire year. Let's hop on over to the review. Welcome back, film fans. This is Let's Be Real Brad. Today, we're going to be talking about the brand new neo-western action thriller from Warner Brothers called Those Who Wish Me Dead. This film is based on the novel of the same name, and it is directed by Taylor Sheridan, who you may know as the writer for Sicario and for Hell or High Water. The film also features a massive cast, including the likes of Angelina Jolie, Jon Bernthal, Nicholas Julio, and more. Those Who Wish Me Dead was a movie that looks so good in the trailers, as most Warner Brothers movies do. My biggest problem with this movie is that it is so generic. It feels like it's something we have already seen before, and it doesn't do anything that's going to excel among the other action thrillers. So I do have many positives with this movie, and we're gonna dive right in with the performances. Angelina Jolie is easily the biggest standout in this movie. She carries the whole movie in every scene that she is in. Unfortunately, I wish there was a lot more scenes with her in it, because I thought that the chemistry between her and the young man in the film were easily the best moments of the film. Nicholas Julio plays one of the villains in this movie, and he is absolutely sinister. He really excels at making you just want to kick this guy in the freaking face. Jon Bernthal is also in this movie, and I think he also does a great job in the scenes that he's in. Another positive I have with this movie is that once we get past the first act, the second act becomes exactly what this movie promised us. Enjoyable thrills, intense action, tons of hiding, some good acting moments. There is one scene in particular where it is in the house with the pregnant woman that was easily, in my opinion, the best scene of the entire film. This movie is also shot and edited very well. Taylor Sheridan is known for his writing efforts, but he's been doing a lot more of a directing lately, and I think he does a solid job in this movie as well. I also think the editing is pretty solid as well. The action sequences look very well shot and well paced together, and you can clearly tell everything that is going on in these shots. I also found the music to be very serviceable, as it was to heighten all of these action and crazy moments within the film. It's nothing spectacular, nothing amazing, but it was able to do its job and make you more immersed into the action. So now let's get right into the many negatives I have with this movie, and we're going to start with the artificial lighting. I know this might not bother a lot of you, but as someone who is a film nerd, the artificial lighting was just unbearable in this movie. I understand that a lot of Hollywood films are able to use this artificial lighting, but in this movie particular, I found it to just stand out among all these other Hollywood films, and I found it to be extremely distracting. This leads into my next point with the terrible visual effects. It really doesn't work well when your movie feels so grounded and exciting, intense, but then when you get loads of CGI fire as characters are running through and it looks so incredibly fake, it takes me straight out of the movie, and it doesn't give me the same intensity that I was already having while watching the film. Gratefully so, a lot of this CGI is hardly in the movie, but when it is in it, it's in some pivotal scenes that progress the story along, and that is what made it overall just distracting for me. And my last negative with this movie is that it has a bad story and a bad script. There are many great concepts and ideas with this movie that I would definitely remake in the future, and I think you can make a really good movie out of this. But my biggest issue is that the story opens up to be very interesting and gets you hooked right away. There are many moments of bad dialogue in this movie that people probably will not care about just because you're going into this movie for thrills, action, and excitement. But I want a good action thriller that has good dialogue, and unfortunately, none of the conversations in this movie really kept me invested, and it was only on a minimal level, and I think there could have been really much more deeper things you could have did with the story and the dialogue. And then the other massive disappointment is that with this story, it is so generic and stale. It has all the beats for beat that you would expect in these type of movies. It has all of the cliches that you would come to expect, and everything about this movie wrapped up in a way that I knew exactly how it was going to go. So overall, Those Who Wish Me Dead is another generic action thriller film that has good performances, some good technical aspects, but with a bare bones story and some good thrills along the way. This movie is padded out with bad dialogue, a very bare bones story that doesn't amount to anything. I'm giving Those Who Wish Me Dead a 5 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the following review.